Welcome, Internet viewers. My name is Peter Michael Gibbs, and I will be your host for Love Chose You, a celebration of marriage. This is our debut program, and we will be posting new 5 to 10 minute videos every Sunday and Thursday, and these videos will be dealing with marriage and everything that happens before and during your marriage. Let me start off this program by saying I am a certified NAD and a licensed M30Y. What does that mean? It basically means NAD is not a doctor, and M30Y means I've been married 30 years. The experiences that we're going to share with you, we have gained, Delisa and I, my wife, have gained over 30 years of experience. We didn't sit in a classroom and have a professor say, here's a scenario of what happens in a marriage and how would you work this out and do these exercises and that exercise. There's nothing wrong with that. That just wasn't our experience. What we went through and our marriage education is actually being in the trenches and actually going through different experiences. I'm a businessman, and Delisa is a former educator, and she has an interior design business. And we will actually have been married on January 3rd, 2012 for 30 years. And we were going together for 7 years before that. So 37 years we've been together. And in 37 years, we think that we can actually learn something from being together that long. And we're going to share those things with you. Now, if that's a problem, you don't have to listen to our advice. But if you do, and, since I'm not a doctor, if you do listen to our advice, then if you find something that you don't agree with, then please feel free to contact us through the necessary channels, either through a video, through an email, and we'll be more than happy to consider the things that you share with us. We're by no means presenting ourselves as the poster couple for marriage. I am definitely not a perfect husband. I'll be the first one to say that. But I honestly believe, and I will say this with all seriousness, that Delisa is as perfect a wife as you could possibly get. And you'll understand why I'm saying that over the course of doing these videos, because she's loved me through a lot of situations. And over the last 37 years, whatever you've gone through in your marriage, I can guarantee you we've gone through in our marriage. The difference is that we survived it through the grace of God. And we made a commitment that in spite of whatever happened, we were going to stay with each other. Despite the fact that we don't have any children and we are not millionaires, at least not yet anyway. And as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about celebrity, the wealthy, and marriage in a later video because there's some dynamics there. But I literally can't see myself without Delisa. I really can't. And hopefully she can't see herself without me either. And no matter what happened in our marriage, we decided we were going to work it out and we were going to do what was necessary to stay together. My main emphasis is going to be you men, you. Because you are the glue that holds your family together. Whatever happens in the marriage, whether you're the cause of it or not, you have to be able to fix the situation. You have to be able to come and bring your family together and take your responsibility for being the glue, the house band that holds the house together. And you have to take the initiative to fix whatever problem is there. And you say, well, why do I have to fix it? That's your job. It's your job to fix it and to make sure that the house stays together and that you do not separate under any circumstances. We're going to get more into that in later videos as well. So you guys always have to make sure that you're keeping the family together and you're holding everything in place. And over the next several programs, we are going to discuss everything that could possibly happen in marriage. Keep in mind, though, that these videos are not for children. We're going to be discussing some pretty heavy subjects quite bluntly and quite openly. We're not going to mince any words. We're not going to use any profanity. But we're sure that, you might find, humor in what we're sharing with you here. But we are not going to pull any punches in how we deal with the subjects that we're dealing with today. Now, for those of you who've been married for some time, want you to keep this in mind, that some of the things that we're going to share with you, you will probably be familiar with, but we're going to put them in a light that you have not seen them before. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. And if you're contemplating marriage, then the insights that we bring to you here before you get married and going into marriage, hopefully they'll help you in your sacred union. If you're divorcing or considering divorce or are already divorced, then you may really need our help, because if you're thinking about going back into marriage, there's some things that you need to be very well aware of before you take that step again. So we're not going to deal with children in the marriage, because Lisa and I don't have any children, so we can't speak to you on that subject and give you any light there. Finally, I want to say two things, that we're going to actually deal with marriage from a Christian perspective. And if you're not a Christian, then please, we don't mean to offend you. But the whole point here is that your marriage is not the issue. Your marriage is a reflection of how Christ deals with the church and how he would never leave the church under any circumstances. There's nothing that you can do that Christ would divorce himself from you. And the marriage is supposed to be a reflection of that. And that's what we're going to try to share with you, and how to keep it together for the long run and the long haul. Marriage is no joke, and you've got to be prepared to go the long haul. It takes work. And if you're not willing to do the work, then marriage is not for you. And if it's not for you, that's okay. Finally, for this episode, we want to share an exercise with you that we found on a website called Cry of the Spirit. We did not come up with this, but we found it to be so powerful, we said, let's share it with you on our debut program so you understand how your family is not supposed to be broken up under any circumstances. And the whole point of the exercise was to show why the ring is worn on the fourth finger. Now, we don't wear any rings. We're not going to get into that right now, but I want you to take your hand and look at your hand, because each digit represents a part of the family. The thumb represents your parents. Your index finger represents your brothers and sisters, your siblings. Your middle finger represents you. Your fourth finger represents your marriage, and your pinky represents your brothers and, I'm sorry, not your brothers and sisters, but your children. Okay? Now, when you take your hand, I want you to put it together like this. And I'm going to stand up so that you can really get the power of this. Okay, there's the camera there. Now, you see that you can separate your parents, because you're supposed to leave your parents' home and you're supposed to make your own home. Do not live with your parents. Some cultures do that, and if they're good in your culture, then you can handle that and do it, but under normal circumstances, don't do it. Your index finger represents your brothers and sisters. For God's sakes, don't live with your brothers and sisters. Under no circumstances do you do that. We're going to talk about family in a later video. Your pinky finger represents your children. Train your children so that they go and live in their own home and they are able to sustain themselves and not ask anybody for anything at any time. And you will see that your ring finger or your fourth finger, you cannot separate it under any circumstances. It cannot come apart. So the only way that this can come apart is if somebody or something comes in and breaks it apart like that. And we're going to show you how to uphold that structure so that it does not come apart. You keep your family unit together, and your marriage is what it is supposed to be. So we thank you for joining us for this debut issue, and we will see you in the next video, which is coming up on Sunday, and we are going to deal with the subject of baggage, bringing baggage into the marriage. So for now, this is Peter G signing off, Peter Gibbs signing off, and we want you to always keep this in mind, that love chose you.